Okay, we're going to do the review for Quiz C on page 19. Number 1 is pretty simple. You can check Google Classroom if you have problems doing that. I want to start with number 2. Now number 2 is tricky because first I have to simplify the left and simplify the right. I have to be careful when distributing my negative. So negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 8 is plus 24 minus 5 equals 9x plus 18 plus 1. Now I have to combine my like terms. No other like term on this side for negative 3x, but a positive 24 and a negative 5 is a positive 19. No other x term here, plus 19. Now, one thing that some of you will do first, so I'm going to do something wrong first. The first thing you should always do is get your variable on the same side. So I should really add 12x to both sides. But I'm not going to do that first. I'm going to subtract 19, and I'm going to show you why this is a bad idea, might be confusing. So I end up with negative 3x equals 9x. Many of you are going to think, oh, no solution because negative 3x can't equal 9x. But you can't make a decision about whether this is true or false until the variable disappears, and the variable has not disappeared. So I'm going to add 3x to both sides, and I end up with 0 equals 12x. Now, to isolate x, I divide by 12, and my answer is x equals 0. Now, let's see what would have happened if when I had 3x plus 19 equals 9x plus 19, I added 3x to both sides first. Let's see why that would be better. I get 19 equals 12x plus 19. Well, I don't think, oh, this is untrue. I think, oh, I better subtract 19 from both sides. Now remember, when you end up with nothing on the left, in math, nothing is represented by 0. Now I'm left with 0 equals 12x, divide by 12, x equals 0. Okay, so now let's do the check. So negative 3, 0 minus 8 minus 5 equals 9, 0 plus 2 plus 1. Well, this becomes negative 8. And this becomes 2. This becomes positive 24 minus 5. Does that equal 18 plus 1? Well, this is 19, and so is this. And that would be my check. Okay? So now, let's do number 3. Because I notice in number 3, I have to distribute a negative. And that's where some of you make mistakes. And the other thing is, I noticed Grandma was at the back door. I'm not even going to deal with that. I'm just moving her to the front door. So now I'm going to be careful while distributing. Minus 5x minus 15, because negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. 21x minus 3. Combine my like terms. Now I'm going to add 15 to both sides. Subtract 21x from both sides. Divide by negative 18. And when I simplify that, the answer is negative 2/3. Okay? Now, for number 4, I am going to get rid of the decimals by multiplying both sides by 10. How did I come up with 10? Because if I read this properly, 1 and 2/10 plus 4 and 3/10 equals 2 and 1/10 minus x, my common denominator is 10. The most common mistake here is you don't multiply negative x by 10 because you think I don't need to, there's no decimal. But that's not how the properties work. if you multiply the left-hand side, you have to multiply every term on the right-hand side. So this becomes 12x plus 43 equals 21 minus 10x. I'm going to add 10x to both sides. I get 22x plus 43 equals 21. I'll subtract 43 from both sides. 22x equals negative 22. Divide by 22, divide by 22. X equals negative 1. Okay? And you should do the check. You shouldn't have a problem with that check. And now I'm going to do number 5. Now, number 5, two different ways you could do number 5. You could say, well, I have two fractions. Because I have two fractions, I'm going to clear my equation of fractions. We could do that. So I'm going to actually do this two different ways. First, I'm going to multiply, well, I'll do the other one first. First, I'm going to say, let me get my x's on the same side. So I'm going to subtract x, and I get 2x plus 7/3 equals negative 5/3. Then I'm going to subtract negative 7/3, and I get 2x equals negative 12/3. Well, negative 12/3 is negative 4. Divide by 2, divide by 2. X equals negative 2. So that wasn't that bad, not clearing it of fractions. Let's see if we clear it of fractions, how that goes. So I'm going to multiply both sides by the common denominator. 3 times 3 is 9x plus 7 equals 3x minus 5. Even though the other way wasn't bad, to me this just looks simpler, and most people do much better with integers than with fractions. So now I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. I get 6x equals negative 12. Divide by 6, divide by 6. X equals negative 2. Okay? So, that's it for this video. There's a different video for page 20.